The Last of Us. This is my review about The Last of Us, the show, not the fucking game. The game holds a special place in my heart. Now, I don't know, my memoir is gonna have that shit, not really, but I got my PS3 in 2014. It was a black PS3 Super Slim, yeah, and it came. Well, my grandma got me. What she got me? She got me fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She got me that shit. And my grandpa got me Little Big Planet 3, and my dad got me Batman Arkham Origins. Low-key underrated as fuck game. Anyways, I think a year later, I got The Last of Us. Got The Last of Us, like the normal one. And if I'm correct, in 2014 I was 6, so I got that shit when I was 7. So I think I beat the game in like week, 2 weeks and a half, or no, a week or a week and a half. I beat that shit, and I think now, cause I was, little, so I didn't understand like the game that much. Oh shit. So when I replayed it when I was 12 or 13, yeah, it wasn't last year, it was like 2021. So yeah, I understood it more, and I understood what the message was, if that makes sense. I understood what it stood for, what it was trying to do, now that I'm older and more mature. Like, I replayed the game like a year and a half ago. And so when I saw the shit in like The Last of Us that calls back to the game, that shit was crazy. Like, I was like, yo, and that's my spoiler free. Now for spoilers, they added the fucking the drug line scene. Is like, I sell hardcore drugs, and yeah, I was like, yo, that's sick as fuck. And then when they're driving, out of the house, a burning barn or a burning house, I forgot, and they said the same shit that they said in like what they said in the actual game. Like, I think it was like, this is Tommy's place, or no, that's not this, or something like that. And I was like, yo, that thing is fuck. And I was kind of surprised, because in the game, this might sound racist as fuck, but in the game Sarah is white. Oh god, I'm gonna get canceled. But in the show, she is like a little bit black, African American. It's not sounding sensitive. Like, I thought that was Ellie's friend from the Left Behind DLC, to be honest. So yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't really mind it. I was just like, in the beginning I was a bit confused, not knowing that they added that, if that makes sense. This is kind of a criticism. Like the zombies are kind of stereotypical. What I mean by that is like they move their head like the stereotypical way, like they move snappy. That makes sense. And like when the fucking old lady starts tweaking in the background, I was like, oh shit. And also, this is not a criticism, they like do so much plot holes. They fix so many plot holes that was in the game. Like, why did Joel leave the beginning of the game? That is resolved by Tommy getting arrested, if I remember correctly. And then also one of the parts, this is kind of also criticism, but in the game when the soldier is like, yo, stop, I'm gonna kill you. Now, that's not what they say, but like when they were gonna shoot Sarah and Joel, they were like, the guy in the game was like, sir, they got a kid, right? And so that made it kind of more emotional. But in the show, they don't say that. It's just straight shooting. And that was Loki, one of my favorite, like that was my favorite performance in the show, was Sarah's actress when they were when she was dying basically, and the gasping was like realistic. Well, it was realistic. I'm not like what I'm trying to say is that the crying and the gasp sounded so desperate. Does that make sense? That it sounded realistic as fuck. Like, oh my god, that made me feel sad, and I think that was the purpose, and also in the storytelling point, that's really good too, because that shows why Joel is kind of fucked up. Like also an emotional moment is when they find that little kid, when they find that little kid, right? And like when they find that little kid walking, that little girl walking, and you should see her feet, right? Like it's kind of like what they did in Jojo Rabbit with Scarlett Johansson's with character on it. Like you see her feet first, if I believe correctly, and the last time you see her is by her feet hanging. So I think like that's what also happened in the show. It shows this little girl, and she turns out to be positive for the shit, right? And you're like, yo, damn. First off, I thought she was fine because, like, oh my god, we're gonna give her the favorite food that you want, right? But you see Joel, like, it was 20 years later, like, sad. Well, no, Joel's just there, he's doing his job, and then this girl is just like, yo, I can't do it. And the first thing you see are the feet, are the shoes that she was wearing. You're like, damn, you know? So that's kind of like a shocking moment. Ellie's character, she's fine. When she says "fuck you, motherfucker," I thought that shit was kind of funny. Not gonna lie. But yeah, one scene that I really liked was when Sarah wakes up, because in the game she's already awake, but she wakes up by the explosion, and in the game she sees explosion. That's beside the point, but basically something that I really liked was like when like there's this in the beginning, like the neighbors are like they're taking care of, I believe, their mom, or one of the people's moms, and she can't walk. And when she gets infected, because you see her like a couple of, like, I think it's in what, half an hour in, probably, you see her tweaking. Does that make sense? Like she's like, "Argh!" But like in the background she's silent. And then in the game, well, not in the game, what the fuck, in the show, you see her like fucking running. How Sarah got the money in the thing, in the game, how she got the money, how the watch, right? So that kind of answers the question, which I thought was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. So in total, the first episode, I give it a 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Unfortunate thing is that Tess is gonna fucking die next episode. So yeah, that's kind of it. So yeah, that's my review. Ah!